I'm Darryl Smith, host of Unique Voices, and I have a very fine guest with me today, Kara Holmes. And we're going to talk today about struggle, perseverance, overcoming obstacles, and then what your plans are and thoughts are for the future. Kara, welcome to Unique Voices.
Thank you for having me.
So, Kara, I've known you for a number of years, and it gives me great honor and pleasure to have you sit here in the chair of Unique Voices. And you've been through a lot over the last couple of years, and you have tremendous fortitude to be able to handle some of the things that are pretty difficult in people's lives. But before I get into that, I want to know about you, Kara, as a young child. So you are from where originally?
I'm actually from Wayne County, the Mount Olive area.
Okay.
Yes, I grew up there. Most of my family is actually still in that area, with the exception of a few that are out of state. But growing up, I was the only child. I mean, you know how the only
Oh
child
Lord.
syndrome is.
Only child. And that only child syndrome is for real.
It is. It is. I will tell you, you don't have to, learn how to play nice with others until you're an adult, right? Because you're the only child.
Right.
So, but I had an abundance of cousins, and we would have the best time together growing up. So they were essentially kind of like my siblings.
I got you.
And then, of course, when you go through high school, you get it. You don't have to share anything. I mean,
Right.
typical only child syndrome. Okay.
So was it really difficult for you to go ahead and let other people have the limelight when the only child stepped in the room, or were you one of those little spoiled brats that just said,
No,
"Hey,
I don't think it was that bad.
come on now, tell the truth."
Maybe as like a kid, but I think the older I became, the more diplomatic I think I became. I will tell you, because I was an only child, that is actually what made me want to have multiple children.
Okay.
Um, because when you do get older, you want your family, like you want a family unit
Right.
to be your people,
Understood.
and so when you're the only child, well, what? So, and I always told myself, I was like, well, if I ever have children, I would want to have multiple. Like, so they had themselves, they had each other.
Right. Were you ever lonely as an only child?
Actually, no. I've been asked that before multiple times, and I'm actually kind of introverted. I know that's hard to believe.
There's no way that you are introvert.
Yes, I can make myself be extroverted when it's appropriate.
I got
But
you.
I actually love to sit in silence and just read a book.
You
That
would-
is my favorite
How
thing.
in the world can you love to sit in silence with all them kids?
Well, that doesn't happen a lot. Or I have to stay up really late, which usually I regret the next day when it's time to get up and get ready to go.
I got you. I got
Yeah.
you. But so like to your point, you're an introvert. I still say I don't see it, but when you're with people and you do have to be out there,
Hmm.
is it exhausting to you sometimes?
It's exhausting after the fact. Like my social battery's drained.
Yeah.
And it's not anything they did. It's just I just it's like I will sit in silence. I'm serious. And my children, they will co-sign that. They're like, they know that I just need to sit in silence for a little bit.
Wow.
And depending on how intense things are, like especially like during Kemper's journey, I would just tell my children, don't ask me any questions until 7 o'clock.
Oh wow.
So they knew that I would be open for business again at 7 o'clock, because I
Okay.
needed some time to just,
Okay. I get it.
get
I
myself
definitely
back
get it. You need
together.
to go ahead and just decompress,
Yeah.
get your mind straight, and then
Hmm.
be able to be
Charge back up.
because
Yeah.
you definitely, from what I know and remember, have been devoted to the children.
Oh
So,
yes, yes. I love my children.
oh yeah,
I love being a mother.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, before I get into the chapter of being a mother or being a parent, what did you want to be when you grow up?
Oh man, that's another great question. So, only child,
Mm-hmm.
all throughout high school, bebopping around, couldn't tell me anything. Okay, I was hell bent on going to med school. I wanted to go to med school.
Okay.
I wanted to be a doc. I loved it. Miss Daniels was my biology teacher in high school. I still remember her very vividly, and it was taking her class
Okay.
that made me fall in love with science.
Wow.
I was like, this is where I'm going. This is where I'm going. And I did. I really wanted to go to med school.
Okay. Okay. So you're in the health profession. So
Yes, but not
someone
a not a physician. Not a
so
physician.
it's somewhat you've got that caring and nurturing attitude or characteristic. So that's always stayed with you. So at 19, you end up bringing a bouncing, bubbling, full of energy, full of zest baby boy to the world.
Yes, Kemper was born.
So tell me about that.
Well, life, we did a 180 there. Okay.
Okay.
I was going to college on, wanting to be on that path. And then, surprise. And I will tell you though, I know that completely put brakes on things, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't, I still don't feel like I missed out on anything.
Right, right.
I mean, there was a stint of time there though that I was like, because things were changing so quickly and so drastically, and oh my gosh, it was a little scary there for a little bit, like, but I had excellent support system to be able to continue to do the things that I need to do. So I was very fortunate in that aspect. But yeah, I embraced it. I still to this day do not feel like I've missed out on anything.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So having a child, which you and I'm going to say being a child at that age
Mhm.
yourself,
Yeah.
did it bring a sense of responsibility and ownership to you? And the reason why I say that is when I had my first child, I didn't, before that, I didn't care about
Right.
anything.
Right.
It
Yep.
didn't matter. And then when she was born, I was like, oh God, if I don't do right, I'm going to screw up this kid's life.
Yes, that's what it is. I will tell you, I changed significantly once
Okay.
I had Kemper. I mean, down to we had bedtimes, we had bath times, we watched the Wiggles.
I remember that.
Yeah,
I do remember that.
fruit salad, yummy, yummy. I still remember the
It's
song.
funny. That is funny.
Yeah, but I just really, I mean, it was me and him. It's like we grew up together.
Yeah.
I mean, essentially, I was learning how to be a parent
Okay.
while raising him. And there's something to be said about your firstborn, like you're learning.
Yeah.
No one gives you a handbook, and even if there was a proper handbook for it, it's still wrong. It's still wrong, okay? Like,
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. But oh man, but he was. I'll tell you, if you could get lucky having a child at that young of an age, okay, he was the best baby.
Hmm.
He rarely cried, and if he did, it was because he was hungry. That was literally why I
So we had a
cried.
reason.
He was happy. I mean, and when he was a toddler, he was into everything. Yeah, he was into everything, but he wasn't a bad toddler. Like it was funny. Him,
Right.
him being into everything was funny. It's like, my goodness, what are we doing right now?
So much energy,
Yeah, and I
rambunctious.
remember this vow so very vividly. He was so proud of what he had in his hand.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh no. Because you just kind of never knew, right? And he's like, look. And the frogs jumped out of his hand into our dining room and foyer. And I'm like, oh no.
Oh, that
Yeah,
is
I mean, like,
wild.
yeah, we just had so many great memories of that. Like, I mean, you know.
So Kemper is the oldest
He is the
of
oldest of five.
of five.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So how was Kemper being the older brother when it came to his siblings?
Well, I got to tell you, when we brought Lila home, she's my oldest daughter. he just looked at her in the bassinet and just turned and walked away. I'm so serious. He had no interest. I used to always joke and say that he would have been an excellent only child because he had no interest. Um, Now there's a 5 year gap between him and Lila and my Maddox and Belle,
Okay.
the other two, and then there was a 20-year gap between him and my youngest.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, now that was an interesting dynamic because with Maddox and Bellamy, again, not a whole lot of interest.
Gotcha.
I
Gotcha.
mean, he would tinker with him a little bit here and there, but he was in his own world, right?
Oh, okay.
But his little sister Scotland, he was so excited to have like this little kid around again, and he's like, "What kind of car seat should I get for my truck? I'm gonna take her places with me." Yeah, he was all about it. And when he came home from work, he would come home from work and he'd pick her up and he would tell her all about his day. Like it was
Really?
yeah, it was the funniest thing. It was like their bonding time. And it's unfortunate that she won't.
Remember.
Yeah, but
Right.
we have pictures and videos and all of that. So
I got you. I got you. So growing up, he helped grounded you. Did you continue to go to school? Wow.
I did off and on. I was a stay-at-home mom for the most part, and I did go into the workforce after that. So yeah, I was in school off and on. Eventually able to work through that. That's hard, by the way. To go to school and have children
Oh
at the
my
same
goodness.
time. That's pretty hard, but it's doable. It's doable. And yeah, and I've been working. I like to work. I like to work. I actually think that made me a better mom, maybe.
Oh well, I think it's the balancing
Yeah,
and
like you
what's
kind of get your
the
own.
work-life balance,
Yeah,
and you do need some kind of adult communication, and then get back to the family.
yeah,
Because, like I said, with all those kids that you have,
yeah, yeah.
it
Old
can't
lady in a
be
shoe,
all.
man. Yeah.
But I even remember that all the kids really gravitated towards you, around.
Yeah.
So I mean, you
Hey.
just had that
Yeah.
giddy, childlike, hey, let's. You were stern and you were firm, and they knew what they needed to do, but it was still such a pleasant and warmth and caring attitude. So I get it.
Yeah.
I do get it.
We had fun. Well, I like to play with them. And
Hmm.
like, if we were going outside and playing with Nerf guns or whatever, that's what we did. I
Right.
played with them. Um I remember Kemper and I and my other children were at the beach and I guess we were on like this sandbar or something. I can't remember exactly. We had gotten there by boat and we were throwing mud at each other.
That
Okay.
doesn't surprise me.
But the mud smelled so bad.
Oh God, I know
And
what
it
you're talking
took a
about.
good 3 days to get it out of my
Oh
hair.
my goodness,
And
I
I mean,
know
Kemper
the
got a
mud
big
you're
old
talking about.
handful and just really
Oh,
rubbed it. And I was like, but but we were playing around.
they were
That's what we were
kids.
doing. Yeah. So, but yeah, it took a good 3 days for that to, kind of, I mean, it was hard to go in public. I was just saying.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
I would just say that. But we have fun. I mean, we have intense moments too. I mean, especially when you have that many children, when it's off, it's off. You know, but when it's on, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
especially
It's
holidays.
it seems funny because being a single child, just a one kid, and then you get all these,
Yeah,
and then you have to sit there and try to be the mediator between everybody. It's got to be crazy, and you didn't have any
no,
experience in
you're
it.
right.
You
I
just,
didn't. I didn't.
you fell right into it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. There would be some times where I was just like, you know what, just y'all do what you're gonna do, and I turn around and walk away. I'm like, I don't know what to do here. I just,
Oh, that
like, I mean,
I get it. I get it. I get it.
yeah,
I have to think, even though you said Kemper went about his way and let things happen, that there was some support there because he had to be around to help with the other kids. So,
Oh, now I would tell you this: he marched to his own beat, but he
mhm,
was very protective over them,
I know.
very.
I can
So he
understand
may
that.
not have tinkered around with them too much, but I will tell you what: if anybody messed with him, he was on it.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
So tell me about that personality. Tell me about Kemper. What was he like?
Oh
What?
gosh, I think of him like an old soul.
Mm.
He was. People would tell me, especially like during his journey, people would be like, you did such a great job raising him, and this and that. I mean, complimenting me, and
Mm-hmm.
I would say, you know what, guys, and this is real. He's just a great kid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he would get himself into some kind of
But kids are
tricky
kids.
situations every now and then where he could, yeah, but he just was a good kid.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how. I mean, I don't think I could take credit for all of that, right? Because some of it was just in him. Yeah. I
I think, yeah, you can take credit for
uh,
it. And the reason why I say that is because you gave him the latitude to experiment, to be free, and you understood from the time that he would bring the frog in the house and it jump out of your hand, to him riding BMX bikes.
oh yes. Oh, now that I struggle with that one a little bit, to be honest.
When I found out that he was riding bikes the way he was, and I was just like, man, I want to go see this kid.
Oh, he was so fun to watch, but it was hard to watch at the same time because they would crash or whatever. Him. Now he's broken some bones. He's chipped some teeth.
Right.
I mean, we've had our fair share of injuries there with that, but he just loved it. He loved BMX and he just did it. Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm
What got him into that? What did he just see? Was it Dave Muir living in the area, or what was it that caused him to be drawn
He
towards
went
it?
to Eastern Elementary School.
Okay.
All right. And beside Eastern Elementary School is that bike park. And
I
he would
know what it is.
watch them ride.
Okay.
Uh huh. And he would ask all the time, "Can I go? Can I go? And I'd be like, "No, no, no." I mean, and then finally, just one day, I was just like, "You know what? Just go." And he went, and he stayed. He never came. I mean, like he'd be gone all day.
Really?
Yeah. And those guys out there, I'll tell you, they were some of the nicest people you'd ever meet.
Mm-hmm.
And they really like took Kemper under their wing and like showed him how to do things. And yeah, he loved it.
Wow.
Yeah, Kemper was like a little brother to some of them out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he just like his mama. He had a magnetic personality, and everybody was drawn to him. And to your point, he had a lot of energy. He was rambunctious, but he was a good
Yeah,
kid.
you did. I mean, there was something about it. Like it was okay that he was rambunctious and everything. I don't know. Like
Right.
he was, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So, at 15,
Mm-hmm.
some of the heartache started to come in, some of the
Oh, yes.
realization
Oh, my
of
gosh.
things that occurred.
So Kemper called me. I was at work. I remember like it was yesterday. I was at work and he called me and he didn't feel good. Now, to know how important that is, Kemper never called. Like even when he broke his arm, he had a hairline fracture riding BMX. I think he went to the beach for a session or something like that. And he didn't want to stop riding, so he rode still with a hairline fracture in his arm, if that tells you anything. But he called me from work and said, "Mama, I don't feel good. I don't feel good. I need to go to the doctor." I'm like, "Okay, okay." So I called the doctor and we went. They squeezed him in. And they were doing blood work and all of that. And I remember I could see the look on the pediatrician's face, like her eyes got kind of big a little bit, but it was just that. And his nose was bleeding like really bad, and like it which wouldn't stop bleeding. It was
Okay.
crazy. And the clotting that was coming out, it was something that you would see on TV, or it just didn't wasn't even real. I mean, I was like, I've never seen any of that before. So I was like, oh gosh. But when she told me, she said, "Here's his blood work." She handed me a piece of paper and she said, "We can arrange for an ambulance to go and take you to children's emergency room." And I looked at her like, "I'm sorry, what?"
Right.
Because we were at Greenville Pediatrics, which is kind of across the street. You're like, "Well, so what do we need an ambulance for?" Yeah, like, you know
Right.
what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like what? And She's like, I think you need to go to the children's emergency room, like right now.
And she didn't tell you why.
Mm-mm. And I was like, well, she can't diagnose
Right, right.
there, but
Okay.
she had a feeling, and I'll get back to that in a second because she came to visit, to talk to me after a couple of weeks, and
Okay.
um, yeah, but I looked at the paper, and now keep in mind, I knew I wasn't a clinician, but I could see his white blood cell count numbers sky, and then my heart just sank because I knew I knew I knew something was wrong,
Okay.
like bad. And we went to the children's ED, and
Mm.
wow, that was quite the experience that night.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, what exactly does or did Kemper have?
Oh man, if it just couldn't get any worse. I thought maybe we were talking like leukemia or something like that. No, he had liver cancer, which at the time we thought was hepatocellular carcinoma. And then as more tests were done over the next few months, we realized it was a variant. Well, some will say it's a variant, some will say it's its own cancer. But it was then fibrolamellar hepatocellular carcinoma, and I know I just tore that
You
up.
just
Okay, I just
well, I'm gonna say okay. Yeah.
a really rare liver cancer, like 1 in 5 million.
One
Yeah.
in five
So
million.
it was just, I mean, it was like a snowball going down a mountain. Like it just, if it could just keep getting worse, it just kept getting worse. And then, like, on top of it, there's no regimen for his kind of cancer
Wow.
because it's so rare, And it was a lot. It was a lot. Yeah. And I remember, was a resident at the time. He pulled me out of the room, and I was still in my work clothes because we had rushed there to the doctor because I was at work. We took him to the doctor, and he pulled me out, and he's like, we're pretty confident your son has cancer. And I was like,
Mm.
you have the wrong room.
Right.
And he was looking at me like, I mean, the look on this man's face, you could tell he'd rather walk on nails lit on fire than
Then
tell
come
me
in
that,
here and tell me.
And but he just like, and I was like, people talk about like this outer body
Oh yeah.
experience. That's exactly what it felt like. I was just standing there. And I think I was scaring the children at the nurses station they were playing Uno. I remember that. And like one of the nurses pulled me to the side and she put me in the supply closet. And she's like, "You've got 10 minutes. I can buy you 10 minutes, but you have 10 minutes before your children are gonna start to wonder what's wrong
So
and where
you
they're
had
at."
your other children with you.
They were with me, because we had been there like all even, and she's like, "You got 10 minutes, 10 minutes," and I was like, "Okay." I was trying to like get myself together, like
Right.
because Kemper didn't know yet because
Oh my.
we didn't want to tell them until we knew for sure. We didn't want to be like, "Hey, we think you had cancer," like, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
we wanted to know definitively.
Right.
And honestly, I didn't. How do you tell your kid
I
that?
don't.
Like how do you?
Your firstborn. You know.
Yeah.
I mean. Yeah. Yeah. I mean. I couldn't imagine the grief, and then to your point of it being an out of body experience, but it just doesn't seem like it's real. You see someone right there, you see your flesh and blood sitting beside you, and then you're just like, what? You know?
Yeah, like when you looked at him, I mean, you would have never in a million years would have thought that, right?
Right.
And out of all the things, I mean, I when walking in, I was like, man, maybe you were going to tell me it was leukemia or something because his blood count was really high. I knew something was really wrong because his blood count, it was too high. It was too high. And, but man, not the news we got. Mm-mm.
Wow. So, uh, I know that's an emotional struggle because you're fighting a demon. First, the demon of okay, this is happening to us, and then the other demon of what do I need to do to move forward to try to have some kind of resolution. What did they give you at a time? a sense of hope, or was it all just doom and gloom?
Well, I will tell you, it was pretty rough in the beginning because it was so bad. Like, and it's just like how like you have all these questions, and that was the night that we met Dr. Fu. Dr. Fu was Kemper's primary oncologist, and he told Kemper.
Oh, he told him.
We were all in the room with him, but he told Kemper he was more equipped. I couldn't do it.
Okay.
And Kemper he looked at me. He's like, "Mom, I'm so scared." And he looked at me. He's like, "I don't want to die." And my first response to him was, "You're not gonna die. You'll be okay." And then I remember Dr. Fu just kind of looking at me, and I just kind of looked at him, and I looked away because I mean that when you're given that's a serious diagnosis. That was my first instinct to tell him.
Right. I mean, it's just like an involuntary action that's
Yeah.
gonna come out no matter what.
Yeah.
Being a parent.
So, anyway, we didn't go home. We stayed. We were in the hospital. Um, we went through all kinds of possibilities. And Dr. Fu was like, "Hey, we have this, so we're gonna try." And I'm like, "Okay." Like, I was completely ignorant to the whole thing. Like a green novice, just had no idea what was about to happen. And I will tell you, I know more about that liver now than I ever thought I would. But we tried. We had a couple things to try, and so he went quickly for port in the surgery, and we started chemo shortly after. And he had a really bad reaction to his chemo treatment. Keep in mind, this was all like pre-COVID. Okay. March 2020. Well, we didn't realize because we didn't know he had this variant of the hepatocellular carcinoma. One of the telltale traits of his type of liver cancer was high ammonia levels. And see, we did that never registered because, well, I mean,
Yeah.
well, apparently, and I'm not 100% sure, but because it was a while ago, but apparently, his treatment just really kind of amplified that, and so he kind of went into confusion, delirium, that it was not a good situation, and he had to be rushed to the PICU, put on a ventilator, that he had to start hemodialysis quickly to try to clear it out, and we really didn't know what was going to happen. Was he going to wake up? Like, we had no idea. Well, interestingly enough, he woke up. Like, they're like, "Hey, let's start to take him. Like, let's start to wake him up and see what happens."
Okay.
And it's like nothing would ever happen. He woke up like looking at everybody like, "What?"
Oh my goodness.
Like, what? And he's like, "What's it?" Like, he was trying to get the tube out of his mouth. Well, when he woke up, the whole world shut down because it was COVID. So he was in the twilight zone when he woke up. He didn't understand that he couldn't go outside,
Right.
And but yeah, he was in the hospital for 3 weeks that time. He was very weak because when you're on the ventilator and you're put down like that, I mean, it's amazing at how fast you can kind of start to
deteriorate.
Yeah, well, I don't know if deterioration is the right word to use, but you really kind of lose your muscle. I don't know. It's kind of interesting how fast that happens.
Okay.
But yeah, when he was starting to kind of come around, it was hard to he had to get his endurance back, I guess is a good way. And then it didn't help that his chemo was kind of because his chemo was kind of rough for that particular cycle. But anyway, he wanted to go home. That was his thing. Every time he was in the hospital, he wanted to go home. And I'm like, I don't think it's a good idea to go home, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think it's a good idea to go home, man.
You didn't know what's going on, and you're learning. And
Dr. Fu was really big on being if it makes you happy to be homeless, try to figure it out.
Okay.
You know, like Dr. Fu, like I wish there were enough words to describe. Like he's just so methodical with his process, and like me, I was like, no, he needs to no, he needs to stay. And like he's like, well, we really need to try to explore because he's happier there. Like he's more comfortable there. Like, but you also have to remember at the time, Dr. Fu was way more in tune to what was going on than I was. Right?
Okay.
You
Sure.
know, Kemper was pretty sick,
Okay.
and so we made everything happen for him to be able to come home. So he would have to go back to P Day, which is a outpatient clinic that a lot of the cancer patients go to, children,
Is
pediatric
that
cancer.
in Greenville? Okay.
Yeah, it's at the Maynard's Children's Hospital. And we'd have to go back to get labs because we'd have to keep checking his ammonia level.
Mm.
And once we realized that it was an issue, we had to check his creatinine, like for his kidneys, like just all kinds of things, just to make sure he was good. His electrolytes were good, that sort of thing. Well, of course, because he was on chemo, he didn't want to eat. So then, kind of did the TPN thing, which some of y'all clinical people out there might know as a banana bag, or because it's yellow liquid, for nourishment,
Okay.
Well, that's what I call it anyway, a banana bag. And so we did that. We had continuous, so we had him a little backpack on. And he couldn't be on TPN forever because, well, it's not really good for the liver.
Okay.
So I've learned, and I was told at the time. And so we really were trying to get away from that, but to take the pressure off of him eating, because like we were really just starting to bicker about it a lot. Like, Kimber, you need to eat. You need to eat. He's like, I don't want to eat. I don't want to eat. I'm like, but you have to eat.
Right.
So he ended up getting a feeding tube, which was rough to just. I mean, the process in general was rough.
I imagine.
But I will say this. I think that was pivotal, actually, during his treatment, because he got great nourishment. We use Cake Farms, which is plant-based, organic. And I don't know why I was so, like, stuck on that. But I refused anything that wasn't plant. I don't know. Like, I mean, I probably, like, looking back, laughing now. I laugh about it, but looking back, I'm like, I was probably really annoying to the team.
Well, and you had a care team.
Yeah.
And I know we talked about the care team and some of the responsibilities and some of your expectations. And then you had an aha moment afterwards. What was that like? Because you wanted answers, you wanted results, you wanted things to happen right there and there.
Oh, yes.
And they tried to accommodate, but
well, I'm gonna tell you, everything's hindsight, right?
okay.
So when you go back to reflect on the experience, you're like, oh, okay, this makes sense now, right? Well, at the time, I really was having a hard time understanding, why are we not cutting this out? Like, why are we not doing? You can have half of my liver, like anything I have two of, he can have. They're like, it doesn't work that way. Like, and I'm like, why? I'm giving it to you for free.
Right, right.
I don't understand.
Right.
And they're like, no. Like, they kept just telling me no. Like, everything was no. We got told no so many times. I was so frustrated and so upset. And I was like, and a whole time I was saying to myself, my kid is going to die and there's nothing that I can do about it. And I'm trying so hard. Hindsight of it was, you can't, if you have surgery, you have to show that your treatment's working, because once you have surgery, you've got to get put back on that treatment that works, so it'll kill residual.
Okay.
Yeah. Two, you want to make sure he's going to survive the surgery, right? And then many clinicians, I'm sure many understand, is they don't want to do any additional harm if it's not necessary. Although I did pose the question, I was like, well, isn't it doing harm when they want to try and they want to live and they want to try and they know it's going to be really hard? Isn't that doing harm by telling them no?
Wow.
It was kind of like it's thought-provoking, right?
Yeah, right.
Like, Anyway,
Because you got Kemper and this kid
he doesn't want to
that
die.
he
Like
just and he will run through a brick wall to do what he
yeah,
needs to do to
yeah.
survive.
And he was so frustrated. He was slowed down. He just because he was a go getter, you know.
Right.
And I was like, gosh. So me being his mom, I was like, gosh, I've got to figure this out. I mean, thinking like, I'm gonna figure it out, right? Um. Well, doing some research and getting second opinions. And again, we were told no so many times. We finally found a physician that was like, you know what? We have nothing to lose. Let's try it, man. And I'm like, okay, where do you need me to be?
Right.
Anyway, so he was he's an interventional radiologist at Rush University Medical Center in Chicago.
Okay.
And they're like the only place in the U.S. that deals with this kind of cancer. It's so rare. It's like this one hub, And he's like, let's try it, man. We're gonna do Y90. That's what it's called. But pretty much what Y90 is they kind of insert a catheter, and there's these tiny spheres. It's either a sphere, like these tiny, tiny little balls that you can't even really see, or glass resin pieces that have that's with radiation that just it's like a directed type of radiation treatment, if you will. At the time, we wanted the glass resin pieces. I say we. They. I didn't know anything about it, but they wanted glass resin because they really wanted to kind of like go in there and like just nick at that tumor, just really get that radiation in there. But it wasn't approved because Kemper was still 15, and that was an adult. I think at the time it was only tested or treated with adults. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, but they did give a go for the spheres, the little balls, and we did it. Well, I would tell you what, he had enough radiation in him. Like I would be with him in the hospital, and like these people would come in like testing, like I would, and I was like, should I be concerned? Like,
So
I mean, I'm still
what's
sitting
this,
here, like, yeah. But anyway, he got a pretty good dose of radiation, and we came home. It was just a fast trip. We came home. It was not very invasive, so he was not down long. And we had his first scans, I think a month or so after, and his tumor only shrunk a centimeter. And now I know that sounds excellent, but if you can think about it, his tumor at the time, I believe, was like 21 centimeters. It's like the size of a football in his abdomen.
Wow.
Insane. It's like 21 or 23 by 11. It was huge. It was like literally a football in his abdomen. And so 1 centimeter was like, man, we really, really wanted to see something.
Oh, drastic or something.
Yeah.
Of substance, lack of better words.
At the time, Dr. Fu, I remember Dr. Fu being kind of like, let down a little bit by it. And I remember having such a strong reaction to that. I was like, why are you not happy that it was like we have like a centimeter or what have you? And he's like, it was such a pivotal experience working with him and the team, because he looked at me with such honesty, like, and he's like, I'm allowed to feel disappointment too. Yeah, he's like, I wanted this, to be more, And I was like, wow, I guess it never just that,
Yeah.
he was so invested, like, and I guess I just didn't realize, like, so.
Well, you become family somewhat.
Well, I don't know what happened after that, but something started working. I don't know if it's like the synergy of his treatment that he was doing at the time, because we had him on like, immunotherapy, and we changed his other treatment up. Again, I keep saying it was not me. It was his character.
Well, you're part of the support system, so you got a team, so we.
But he had another scan, and we were down 5.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And like it just started working.
Okay.
And it kept getting down. It got down to 11 centimeters.
Okay.
I believe it was 11, and most of it was necrotic, so it was dead.
Okay.
That's when we got the dream surgeon that called us, man. He called us, and I reached out because, again, I will share this. You do not, I promise you, you do not understand what the word desperate means until you are in a situation like this. Like, people always, say desperate this, that's desperate that. No. When you are faced with the ultimate threat of your child's life and you literally have no control, like, there might be parts of it that you
Mm.
are helping with, like, for example, making sure medications are given on time, and making sure he gets to every single appointment. Like, there are things that you can do that help, but the reality is
It's
you
not
don't
like you could
control
take it
anything.
completely out of
Yeah,
him
yeah,
and put it in you and say, "Okay, I'll carry this weight for you."
yeah,
You're just sitting there like, whatever I can do
yeah.
for you.
Well, his tumor was wrapped around some pretty significant arteries, and so, like, we were having a really hard time finding surgeons, um, except for this one in New York City who did what's called ex vivo. And what ex vivo is where he would take the organ out completely, cut the cut the tumors out, and then put it back in. It's like
You,
it's a transplant essentially, but it's with
wow.
your own organ. And he's done that more than once. Um, and but being desperate though, okay, I would, call up there and waiting for his phone call to the point. Keep in mind, this is a world renowned surgeon. I, like,
You,
my phone call was going to do, I can, say,
oh, you gotta
yeah,
take my call.
right. So I'm sitting there like, I was at P Day one day, and I remember it. I was like, I'm just going to get on an airplane and go and sit at his office. Like, Hannibal Lecter. Hello, Clarice. Like some crazy person,
Right.
right? To sell my kid, like, operate on my kid. Well, turns out I didn't even need to because he had reviewed scans, reviewed it with tumor board, and he said, "Look, what we're going to have to do is," and he was explaining it to me. He could have told me we had to fly to the moon, and
And
I'd
you
been
would
like,
have
"I'm
right
gonna
there.
be there, man." Like,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
He's like, "Look, but you need to be prepared to stay in New York for a couple months," and I was like, "No problem." Meanwhile, in the back of my mind, I'm like,
I got these other
"Yeah,
kids,
like,
right?
what am I gonna do?" And but we had such a stellar support team. Some great friends of mine, they helped me with my children because, like, keep in mind, all of this is through COVID,
Yeah.
so you can't. It can only be me and him, right? And it was very limited. You know, children were out of school doing
Yeah.
Zoom. I mean,
Oh,
it was a
wow.
whole kit and caboodle going on. Like, it was just insane.
Right.
And they stepped in and were like, you know what, we got this. So they have three children of their own.
Mm.
They took
Mm.
on my other three children at the time, because at the time Scotland wasn't born, and they were like, we got this. Like, we're gonna homeschool the hell out of them. Like, so that's what they did, right? And they were just spectacular through all of that. And then, working in Chicago, like with the Chicago people, Dr. Kent is his name, Dr. Paul Kemp. He works so closely with Dr. Fu. And the reason why I want you to know about that is because there were no egos in the room. They were two brilliant physicians coming together to bring both brilliance together to figure this out.
To try to save your
And
son.
when you look back at that, you're just like, it's incredible,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And it was the same thing with Dr. Tassie, which was their radiologist. They just call you up, when can you be here? This is what we need, XYZ kind of thing. That part was spectacular. Um, and they knew Dr. Cato.
Okay.
That was his name, the surgeon in New York. and so they kind of all came together on this tumor board and figured it all out for
So
Kemper.
was it success?
Yes, so it was about a 17, 18 hour surgery. I think it depends on who you ask, right? So we're in the middle of Queens, New York, all right, New York Presbyterian. And yeah, he's having surgery. He didn't want me to leave. He's like, Mama, don't leave. Although Dr. Cato was like, you can leave because we're going to be here all day, you know. And I didn't leave because Kimber didn't want me to. So I sat in this little old metal chair
Mm.
for most of the day. I mean, I did tinker around the hospital a little bit, but again, remember, it's COVID. So you can only do but so much, right? Well, in the gift shop, I bought him a penguin. And we still have it to say, that boy loved that penguin, okay? And it was like yay big. All right. And he's had it ever since. Like that was like his like little, I
And
guess.
it's all him being fit. He's at 15 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Well, this time I believe he was 16. Yeah,
Okay.
16 at this time. Um, but it was just a lot, and I don't know what I was expecting to see when he came out of surgery, but he was swollen and yellow as a banana.
Mm.
And I was just like, okay, that's just not what I don't know what I was expecting to see, but I know I want that. Okay, you know. And he looked worse than what he did going in, and that terrified me. I was very freaked out. And the staff kept saying he's not out of the woods yet. He's not out of the woods yet. I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean? And they're like, well, I mean, I know it's his liver, but he could still reject his own liver, right?
Mm.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that was again, never dawned. I just didn't know those things,
Okay. Now you talked to me about during this time period, there was a realization where you said, I don't know how much time I'm going to have with my son.
Yes.
So I'm going to make these moments the best moments of your life. Was that the point where you came to that conclusion?
That was actually shortly after he was diagnosed because he was not doing really well, especially with that first PICU visit. I told myself, I was like, you know what? I don't know if these are his last days. And I was like, I'll be darned if they're going to be horrible.
Right.
We're going to have fun. And boy, that's what we did. We did all kinds of things. I'll tell you, I am not a dog person. It's not because I don't like dogs. I do like dogs. It's just they're a lot of work. They're they're like children.
Right.
Okay. And I just it's never occurred to me. I'm more of a cat person, you know.
Okay.
Boy, we bought that boy. We got a dog. We got him 2 dogs.
2 dogs.
2 dogs. Okay. To get them up out of bed every day. You have to go walk the dogs. They rode with us everywhere. Like if he wanted something ridiculous, I bought it for him, and he was happy. If he wanted to eat something crazy, we went and ate it. I mean, if we could, because there's some things you can't really tap into when you're on treatment. But that's what we did, and we did some funny stuff. In fact, we used to ride in my car with the windows down and the sunroofs open and this big square around Greenville to get him out in fresh air.
I got you.
Because it was COVID. We couldn't and we didn't want to make him sick, but he needed fresh air and he needed sun and to be happy and have like wind in his face. So we'd all Lila created a playlist, okay? And Kim, I think, created one too. So we had these obnoxious songs up there, okay? And we would be riding in Greenville
with the windows down,
with the windows
top
down,
everything down,
just doing this big square like around Greenville. Listening to these songs, and he was so happy.
Wow!
And it was just so happy. So that was like the goal. It's just we're gonna be happy.
During that time period, do you think that brought you all closer together?
Oh, absolutely. We were so tight knit. Like I know sometimes things like this can kind of tear families apart, just because it's hard. It's hard to process. It's hard to watch. It's hard to feel. It's hard to feel it. It's hard. All of it's hard. But it brought us closer together. We have considering the circumstances, we have some of the best memories. I mean, some of the best memories that we still laugh at today. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So during this, how many years after this surgery did you have with Kemper?
Almost 3.
Almost 3.
Mm-hmm. So he never completely stopped chemotherapy.
Okay.
He did have mets that had to be taken care of in his lungs, and we went back to go see Dr. Tassie for those, and he, worked his magic with that. He did get to what I call, this is Kara's terms, a remission like status, and it was where nothing was really active, but he was still on treatment. You know what I mean? To the point though where there was starting to become discussions about weaning him off.
Okay.
Well, turns out he had gotten in a dirt bike accident and he had to be off some of his treatment for that to heal, because he got in an accident and had a big boo boo on his leg. Okay, big boo boo. And one of his treatment is lymphedema, which doesn't. There's something about how wounds don't heal properly. I'm not entirely sure why. So he had to stop that for a little while. Well, anyway, his cancer just kind of came back. I don't know if it's related to that or not. There's no way to prove that, I don't think. But timing is kind of, it just, I don't know. It found a nice cushy home in his lungs,
Wow.
the lining of his lungs, and just came back with vengeance, man. I mean, fast.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and we try, oh gosh, I'll tell you, we threw everything at it. I mean, like push limits probably.
Right. Right.
And eventually his blood work came back that he didn't have any left in his system, but by that time
There was just so much in him.
The treatment itself.
The treatment is what I mean.
His body just couldn't take it anymore.
Right.
Because you can't be on chemo forever.
Right.
I remember oncologist told me that, and he's like, he can't be on treatment forever, and I was like, why?
Because it's
so
poison,
toxic.
right?
Yeah, it's poison. You know.
Right.
Again, hindsight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So he was 20 when he passed. That day, I'm sure, was very, very difficult.
You know, I knew logically there was nothing else that could be done. Like, I mean, when I say nothing else could be done. If anything, we were really, really teetering a line of torture.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
It was hard, and it was time, and it was just, again, another out of body experience, if you will.
Right.
Like this cannot be real. Like,
yeah.
You know, I just watched my son die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, what brought me comfort in your words was saying that those were some of the best experiences you had during that time period, recognizing that you did not know how long the clock was going to last or how the hands were going to move. So, and like you said, it was some of the best moments. So that makes me feel good with a situation that's not good. You know what I mean?
Well, your situation doesn't have to define you. And I think it's really hard to find that mojo in that, because like you felt so exposed. Like you felt, I don't know how to describe it, but like you just wanted to be normal. Like Kemper just wanted to be normal, you know? And being able to get to that level of it just not defining you, that you're still going to live your life.
Right.
Like you're still going to keep moving forward, you know?
Right. So
and not get lost in that loop.
And you said that 2 types of people.
Yes. Yes. So I cannot take credit for this quote, okay? But this quote said, and I live by this, there's 2 types of people. There is the first type who is hey, I had to go through it, so do you, right? I had to experience the hardships, so do you. And then there's the other type of people out there who are, hey, I had to go through this. I had to walk this storm. So let me help you get through it. And it's not so bad for you. It's easier for you if that's possible. And I guarantee you, you all out there can categorize the people in your lives of where they fall in those two categories. Like
For
you
sure.
have the category of people of service,
For sure.
and then you have the category of people who are, hey, I had that happened to me,
Mm-hmm.
you know, sort of thing. Not that it's bad. It's just they're just two different types of people.
Right. I always make this realization that I feel like there's billions of people in the world, and it's just all these strings that were all connected together.
Yep.
We feel, we see, we taste, all of our senses. So why wouldn't we be connected? And you took a path or a, a route that you said, you know what? I don't want people to experience the things that I experienced without some kind of hope. And that brings us to Kemper the Brave.
Yes. So when Kimber passed, we really went through this period of, yes, there was grief, right? But anger, like
Mm.
the anger that came from it. Because I just would have like these thoughts, not productive thoughts, okay? Like as in an example of those thoughts were, there are people that walk among us that, abandon their children, mistreat their children, just do really horrible things to, and I wanted mine.
Yeah. They're a
And it
gift.
just felt so unfair. Like, like you really go through that. And so what had happened was is after about a few months of that, I was just like, I've got to figure myself out here because I can't unpack and live here. This is not a good place to live, right? And so I had this epiphany of, you know what? I'm just gonna sit down and write children's books to explain what's gonna happen
Mm-hmm.
in a kid way because it's really scary trying to explain this to your
Oh,
kid.
I
And
bet.
you really teeter a line of, do I tell them everything or do I keep some of that
Well,
from
what were the
them?
ages of your children at that time that you were trying to explain this situation to?
Oh my gosh, like Bellamy was in kindergarten. And, Kimber was 15 at the time. Lila was in middle school. Like Maddox was, I mean, they were young. Like, how
Right.
do you, you
I
know?
mean, Carefree Lab's not even thinking about something of this
Yeah.
magnitude. How do you tell them this?
Well, I would tell you, I chose just to be completely honest. I figured you can't go wrong with that, even though maybe could have probably watered it down a little bit
Right.
sometimes, but
So with these books that you're writing or have
they're
created,
they're gonna they tell the truth, but with humor, okay, with humor, and it is a little humorous, because if you can laugh and
mm,
smile, that to me that's healing.
mm,
Um, we're working on that, but the very first one's called Kemper the Brave. You can get it on Amazon. The goal of that book is to donate them to children's hospitals who treat pediatric cancer patients, to be gifted to those children and families if they wish to have the book.
right, right. I know you were saying that a lot of times you're so enthralled or engulfed in what's going on that you're thinking of the promise of things being successful. In the reality, if it hits, then you have to deal with the bereavement part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So your goal was for those to really focus on the child that does have the illness and not worry about the after effects if it does not become successful.
That's right. So, Kemper the Brave Foundation came to be. I actually never aspired to do a foundation, to tell you the truth, because it's a lot. Foundations are a lot of work. Um, they're very rewarding, but they're a lot of work to get going. But I remember coming home from work one day and I was sitting in my driveway because, my introverted self had to just decompress for the day before I walked into more chaos of the house, right? And I was looking on Facebook, and this little girl passed away. Okay, and she her family had to raise money to be able to bury her child after she just passed away from cancer, and that burned me up something fierce. There's something about that that just really just
Yeah.
that, and it made me so upset enough to want to change it. And after that day, I was like, you know what? This is what's going to happen. We're starting Kemper the Brave Foundation. The book sales are going to feed into the foundation.
Okay, great.
And the goal of the foundation is to give bereavement funds to those families to help them bury their child with dignity. Because I would tell you from my experience, I I know that my son died. I know that we went to the funeral home to figure that out. But there's a solid period of time there that I don't remember well. Like I don't know if it's like your mind's way of protecting. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a trauma response, I'm not entirely sure. Probably a little bit of it all, right? But to try to figure out how to raise or figure out how to get that kind of money, $6,000, $7,000, when you're just trying to just figure out, are you even walking among humans, okay, for the
Right,
day,
right.
right? It was so upsetting to me. And I was like, we've got to do better. We have to do better. I mean, I know we have foundations out there that really help take care of families during the event, but we're focusing on the uncomfortable part. Your child has passed away. You know, a cancer diagnosis is financially devastating. And here we are, the dust is still swirling after the fact, right? And that's what our goal is to raise money and to provide bereavement funds. And I'll tell you our goal, and I like to dream big and go for big. I would love to one day be able to just pay for the funeral
Mm,
for them.
yeah.
I mean, I know it's a lot.
Uh,
We are
but hey,
very far
dream
from
big,
that,
and
just so you know.
well, you don't know what happens. You got to dream big, right?
Yeah, but that's a really big deal to me, and so that's how Kemper the Brave Foundation came to be.
Okay.
And like I said, our book sales, we gift them to children. Um, the sales from those books go into the foundation if we're not fundraising for another foundation to help. So yeah, it's like a circular project there.
Well, you had the inaugural
We did.
Kemper the Brave
We
golf tournament,
did.
and
We
and
did.
I was asked to participate, and thank you for
Yes.
allowing me and my team to be there. It was really great. Good fellowship, a lot of people dedicated to the cause. So I know that when you do these events, you have to start a year in advance to get
Yes.
preparation. So
Yes.
this is going to be a yearly thing. So sponsors and things are needed. Where can they find you, and how can they donate to the cause if
All
possible?
right. So perfect. So we have a Facebook page, Kimber the Brave Foundation. We do have a Facebook page, and we also have a website, kimberthebravefoundation.com. And you can also find that on the Facebook page as well, along with our email. But if you would like to sponsor anything, if you would like to be a part of the team, we could use the help. We're new, we're learning, we are experiencing some growing pains, but we could use help with getting books distributed, helping plan events. It's a lot. It's a lot of work on the back end. It really is.
Right.
And to do it well,
Yeah.
that's the big thing. But yes, if anyone is interested in any of those things, we definitely welcome that. We already have the date for next year.
Okay.
It's June 5th, and it's in honor of his birthday. Kimber's birthday is June 3rd, so we have it that weekend.
Okay.
We got lucky this year. The weather was great.
It was
It
wonderful.
was great. So we're hoping that the weather next year will be just as good. But yeah, we'll get that going. And stay tuned for event notifications, because yes, it is. The date is saved and it's coming, and we need all these things to get going.
So we need a bunch of people to get teams, and again, come participate in this and want to help it grow. Like I said, I participated in the first time, and I can tell you my team wants to be there every year,
We had a good
even
time.
even though we didn't win, but we're gonna be there.
We did have a great time. We did for
So,
sure.
I know Kemper's legacy is this.
Hmm.
It's gonna last forever. Forever. Thinking about his family, the warmth that you have, and your desire to help those. Again, it's just remarkable and it's commendable that you do these things. I know that you have a good heart. I know that you have a warm spirit, and I hope to see that those people that are dealing with this same type of situation can at least find some solace in the way that you do the things that you do, and educate them, because again it hits you like a brick wall,
It does.
and you don't know what to do, but
Mm-mm.
you're that much smarter now.
Right, which means if I can help things be easier for you, that's my goal.
Yeah.
That's my purpose.
So,
Yeah.
Kara, I know we've spent some time and going through the pain and going through the triumph, but what's your last words for the people out there? I want you to look into that camera right there, and I want you to say, give the last thoughts of what you feel.
Well, be brave. If it upsets you enough, make the change. And usually I have found that the things that are the scariest things to step into and try to change are the ones that need changing the most.
Awesome, awesome.
So do it. I mean, if that's your calling, do it. And I would tell you, in the words of Kemper, enjoy the ride. I'm just here for the ride.
Enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
I'm just here for the ride. I love that. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us today with this magical story and taking pain into triumph. Again, this is Unique Voices. I'm Darryl Smith, your host, bringing interesting people and interesting stories to give you hope, guidance, and perseverance during any time. So again, thank you, and we look forward to seeing you and go out and be unique.